Bolivia was left outraged after a number of European states refused to let a plane carrying its president enter their airspace. All because of rumours that surveillance whistleblower Edward Snowden may have been on board. Let's get more on this right now. Across live to RTT, Yegor Piskunov. More on this mile-high asylum drama. Good morning to you, Yegor. Isn't this all going just a little bit too far? I mean, here we are basically denying refuelling to an elected president.
Well, absolutely. Evo Morales was flying back home from this major gas supplier summit in Moscow on his plane, and when it needed refueling, Portugal and France denied landing. And it actually did reach a point when the plane began dangerously running out of fuel and they had to conduct an emergency landing in Austria. Now, France at first said that it was due to technical reasons, but then it turned out that it was because of the rumors that Edward Snowden may be on board, something which is denied by the president's staff and people on the plane. It's actually confirmed by the Austrian foreign minister that Snowden is not on that plane. Nevertheless, Italy closed down its airspace for the same plane for the second part of its journey. Now, the Bolivians are absolutely outraged. In fact, the country's defense minister, who is on that plane, he says that the Europeans have actually placed the president's life in danger. And also many Latin American countries are outraged by the whole situation as well. But what's even more interesting is that all of this has happened despite so many European officials obviously actively reacting to Snowden's revelations, and well, they are already engaging with American authorities over the latest revelations that the NSA has been spying on European officials, demanding explanations and so on. But in reality, it turns out that these countries are doing everything possible to avoid having to do anything with him whatsoever, even if it means denying a landing for refueling of a presidential plane. Now, one of the reasons why these rumors began that Snowden may be on that plane is because earlier in an exclusive interview to RT, the Bolivian president said his country was ready to provide political asylum to the former NSA contractor.
Not. Of course, the situation is far from ideal. His case is constantly discussed on an international level. Bolivia is ready to give political asylum to the people who expose spying activities, so to speak.
Have you received a request for asylum, or are you expecting one soon?
No, but if we receive a request, we are willing to consider it and enter into discussions.
Another leader who seems very sympathetic also to Mr. Snowden and his revelations is the president of Venezuela, and RT also managed to catch up with him.
This young man has to be protected by the international community. He dared, with dignity, to tell the world that there are mechanisms to spy on it, even on your own allies. If Snowden stays alone, he will be destroyed. By protecting Snowden, we will protect peace.
I do have to stress, though, that both Venezuela and Bolivia said that they still haven't received an official request for political asylum from Mr. Snowden. At the same time, he retracted his asylum request to Russia after hearing the conditions voiced by President Putin, who said that Snowden could stay if he wanted, but then he'd have to stop working against Washington. He did send out requests to 20 other countries, but 10 of them have already officially rejected, including India and Brazil, and 8 EU member states who are saying that under their rules all applicants have to be on their territory. And since Snowden has been inside that transit zone of Sheremetyevo airport, then technically they're not able to begin even processing these requests. And nevertheless, Washington is still calling for his extradition. Moscow did say they're not planning to do so since they see Snowden as a human rights activist. They don't see it possible passing him over to the US, where the death penalty is still actively used. But for him, the list of the countries where he could potentially go is definitely becoming shorter. And, well, there's definitely this whole issue of many just trying to avoid him altogether, what we see from this latest incident with the Bolivian president's aircraft.
Yeah, indeed, Diego. We're seeing such a turning of the tides here. Many international analysts saying it's remarkable how so many European countries at first were open to welcoming Edward Snowden, hailing him as a hero, but now they don't want to touch him with a 10-foot pole. Many saying Washington must be levying some severe threats to some of these European leaders and other leaders around the world as well. So still, this continues to play out with whistleblower Edward Snowden. RT's Diego Piskunov, thank you.